Hey man, I'm on time today. You feel me? What's good, man? Contender regime boxing checking back in with y'all, man. What's happening? Another episode of Merlot Fridays, and we are live. What's good? Yes, sir. Hey, salute to my brother Punch Perfect Boxing in the building. What's good? You know what I'm saying? Salute, my boy. Salute to NJ Fury in the building. What's good? Appreciate y'all boys for pulling up. You know what I'm saying? Got a few things I want to discuss with y'all tonight. You know, I'm happy that we have some fights lined up, some things to look forward to, some really key fights, that we have lined up that we need to discuss. So things are looking up. I really want to get y'all take on a couple of these fights. Salute to the OG Mr. Money in the building, man. What's good? Appreciate you for pulling up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, I'm sipping on something real cloudy, you know what I mean? Something slight, nothing too crazy. Cool little Friday. You know what I mean? We ain't going too crazy tonight, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna bring the Merlot back next week, you feel me? You know what I mean? I had to switch it up one time on them, you feel me? But I definitely want to chop it up about Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson being signed. Great news there. That's a fight that I'm pretty sure all of us have been looking forward to. Um, I'm really happy about that fight. Really excited about that fight. Salute to my brother Mike Rhyme in the building. What's good? Shout out to my brother Stephen Pamphile in the building. What's good with you, boy? What's happening? Appreciate you for pulling up, man. I'm excited about that fight. Of course, you see the title. We have Jermell Charlo and Brian Castano in an undisputed rematch, March 19th. That's coming up real soon. We have Kell Brook, Kell Brook and Amir Khan. I think that's supposed to be like this month. Ain't that fight like next weekend? Kell Brook and Amir Khan. Even though that fight is like 4 or 5 years too late, you know what, man? I'm still interested in watching it. Because I've always liked Kell Brook and Amir Khan. When he's not getting knocked out, he's always exciting. You know what I'm saying? When he ain't on the flow sleep, he's always exciting in there. You dig what I'm saying? Man, we got some shit coming up. Of course, the big fish, Big EJ, the truth, Earl the Truth Spence Jr., you know what I'm saying? And the WBA champion, Yordenis Ugas, they just inked they deal. We have an official date and venue. So that's up right now. Man, boxing looking good for these first couple of quarters. You know what I'm saying? Boxing looking real good. Looking real good. And, of course, with there was so many talks about, Canelo coming out saying that, well, not him specific or personally, but a lot of reports said that he and Jermell Charlo, they was coming close to a deal. Then some rumors came out about Canelo going ahead and solidifying a $85 million deal to do a 2-fight deal with Dimitri Bivol and GGG. It comes out that that's not really like a solid deal yet. So I'm hoping that some way, by the graces of God, that we can still get Canelo versus Jermell Charlo. I told my boys, I said, man, look, Jermell Charlo still got time to fake an injury. You know what I'm saying? Remember, I tell y'all, Canelo is the most masterful cherry picker you ever see in your life. So what Jermell Charlo need to do right now, while that fight's still on the table, he need to come out and say, you know what I'm saying? Oh, just make a tweet or something. Oh, I sprained my hand in sparring, but I'll be good for May. You dig what I'm saying? Oh, just come out like say some shit like, oh, my dog died. We going through it in the family, but I'll still be ready to fight in May. You gotta say some shit. You gotta play mind games with Canelo and make it seem like you weak, so he gonna pick you. You know what I'm saying? Salute to the sister Ashley's Corner in the building. What's good? Walter Lee in the building. The Queen La D in the building. What's good? Appreciate y'all for pulling up. What's happening? Yeah, so I'm hoping Jermell Charlo, he get with the program, you know what I'm saying? Do a live, say, I just got through sparring. Damn, I twisted my ankle, but I'm ready for May. He do that, Canelo gonna jump on it. You know what I'm saying? You know, Canelo got your medical records and shit. You feel me? Said thanks for my wrench. I feel like you been had that. I feel like I been gave you your wrench. You know what I'm saying? But salute anyway. You know what I'm saying? I thought you always had a wrench on my channel. You know what I mean? J.A. Dixon in the building. Salute. What's good? Said Miles just got locked up for assault. What? That's good. That's good. You know what I'm saying? So now Canelo might think, oh, his head ain't in the game now. He ain't focused. You know, he got legal issues. That's good. That might be the play. Marcus O in the building. Salute. Shout out to my brother Devin Block in the building. What's good? That might be the play. You know what I'm saying? Canelo gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, he got legal issues. Bet. Let's get him. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? You got to get clever with it. But then, see, that probably worked because Canelo done already seen Jermell Charlo medical records. You feel me? He get your medical records before you do, so he probably already seen, man, this dude healthy. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna go ahead and fight Bivol and them instead. You know, but I think either of those are good fights. You know, we got some good shit coming up. But I wanted to get y'all take, man, before we really get into the main topic. You know, shout out to everybody that's pulling up, man. Shout out to Milwaukee Money in the building. What's good? Said, yeah, Charlo gonna be pissed now. Yeah, man. You got to play mind games with Canelo if you want to get that fight. You know what I'm saying? You know, that man masterful. If he picking you, it's a reason why he picking you. Inevitable 8 in the building. What's good? Said Canelo go play and get his ass knocked out. Hey, big facts. You know what I'm saying? Big facts. Said Maul can get him. On me. Jermell Charlo can definitely win that fight. He has all the tools. He has all the tools, man. And I think Jermell Charlo is one of those guys that fights to the level of his competition. You know what I'm saying? You see him when he fought Deverenchenko, everybody was like, yo, this gonna be your toughest fight. Everybody was saying, hey, bro, nah, this dude, he gonna beat you. Remember when Jermell Charlo and Deverenchenko first got made? It was so many people that was saying Deverenchenko was gonna beat Charlo. Y'all remember that? Now after he done went out there and whooped him and dominated the whole fight, hurt him multiple times in the fight, everybody act like, oh, he was supposed to do that, right? But remember, leading up to that fight with so many people saying, oh, no, Deverenchenko gonna beat Maul. A lot of people were saying that. A lot of people were saying that shit. You feel me? I had people on the pre-fight breakdowns talking about, well, I know one of the Charlos gonna lose. You know, a lot of people were saying Mel was gonna lose to Rosario. Shout out to my brother Jay Harris, Too Real in the building. What's good? Tay D in the building. What's good with you, my brother? Appreciate y'all for pulling up. Y'all hit that like button if you haven't already. I definitely appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? No sweat, but you know, I appreciate it. You feel me? You know, but let me see. If Charlo get Canelo, he has to leave it all in the ring and make a huge statement and an example out of Canelo if he can. I totally agree, Ashley. I totally agree because, you know, that's a fight that I think Charlo himself will understand the magnitude of. Like, he gonna go into that fight knowing and realizing, like, bro, this is the biggest fight of my career. And, like, it's either championship or bust. Like, either I'm gonna go hard or I'm gonna go home. Ain't no half stepping. I think he'll realize that. And again, I think he's one of those guys that fight to the level of his competition. If you look how he performed versus Montiel, it was like, bro, come on now. Come on, we know you better than this, bro. You know what I'm saying? We know you better than this. You know, but sometimes you go in there, you underestimate a guy. And then, you know, on top of that, he might have a style that could be particularly difficult for your style, or he might have, you know, an even stronger sense of motivation and determination to get the victory because he's such an underdog. So it's so many, and you fighting at home too. That's another factor. There's so many things that go into why a guy might perform this way or that way. Shout out to the brother Sheldon Moore in the building. What's good? Said don't know if that will happen now. With Big Maul getting arrested today. Yeah, I just heard that in the chat, man. Like I said, that could play into his hands. That could be good. That could be good. You know, this could make Canelo seem like, you know, make Canelo think shit. You know, he got problems over there shit fucked up. Let's go ahead and make the fight now while he going through some shit. And that could be good for Maul. This might be a play. You know what I'm saying? You got to get creative when you in the run and trying to get a Canelo in the ring, especially when you a real threat. You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't going to pick you unless he feel like, it's something he can exploit. You dig what I'm saying? That's the only way he going to get you. He ain't going to get you when you hot and ready and everything like, you know what I'm saying? Everything clicking. You firing on all cylinders. You strong. You looking deadly and shit. Nah, he ain't going to get you then. He going to get you when, when some looking a little iffy. So that might work in Jermell Charlo's favor. Hopefully, all that legal shit blow over. Salute to the brother Diaby Bob in the building. What's good? Said never thought of it that way. Real talk. You got to play mind games with Canelo. You can't be looking. That's why I said Maul need to. But I was gonna say he need to get on live and act like he just hurt his hand in sparring or something. But now this whole, this arrest situation, he don't even have to do that. This might work for him. You know what I'm saying? But we salute to the brother Ricky Williams, boxing in the building. What's good, man? Peace to the guy, man. Peace to you, my brother. I appreciate you for pulling up. Yeah, man. So y'all seen we got Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson signed and sealed. A part of me still is kind of like reluctant to get my hopes all the way up because it's so much shit that be happening in between the time where guys sign for a fight and the time they're actually walking in the ring. So I want to be hopeful, and I am, because this is a fight that I've been wanting the whole time, for more reasons than just the entertainment aspect of it. Though I do think that it's a great stylistic matchup. Both of these guys are undefeated. I would say Valdez is in his prime. I wouldn't necessarily say Shakur is there yet, but he's approaching that level. You know what I'm saying? But it's levels to this shit. He could be a few years younger or a little bit or he can be, let's say he could have less experience but be more developed than the guy that has more experience. That happens. So I think they both right on pace to give us a really great fight. And it's a unification. It's a fight that we've been wanting to see for a long time now. So I'm happy about that. I would have loved to see a Shakur Stevenson versus Lomachenko or Burchell, Chris Colbert, something like that. But this is the fight that we actually want, and we getting it, man. It seemed like we getting it. So I'm happy about that, man. I'm happy about that. And then I saw a and shout out to Oscar Valdez. I'm not finna give him too much kudos because he doing what he's supposed to do. You know what I mean? I'm not finna just like, because I did the same thing with Cambosis after he beat Teofimo Lopez. I'm like, okay, you went in there, got the victory. I, shouted him out, showed him love and shit, but then he came out here acting all pussy and shit. I don't like that. But Valdez, salute to him. He's taking the fight. He signed. And that's what's up. That's what he's supposed to do. But I still appreciate that he's willing to put himself out there, and hopefully he leave that herbal tea at the crib. You know what I'm saying? Because my boy Shakur Stevenson, he getting it out the mud. He clean, clean fighter, work hard in the gym, eat right, making sure he taking all the proper steps to be at tip top shape. He don't need no tea. You feel me? Salute to the brother Diaby Bible in that super chat coming through and showing love. He said, keep the grind up. Man, I appreciate you for pulling up, bro. Thank you. I definitely will keep the grind up. That's what we do. You feel me? That is what we do over here, man. Hey, shout out to everybody coming through. But so Valdez, I saw an interview where he was like, they asked him how did he think that fight would go. And, he's saying all the right things. It was very interesting. It seemed like he's willing to really take it how it come. He wasn't dismissive or disrespectful of Shakur Stevenson's style. And a lot of fighters that, let's be quite honest, a lot of guys that are less skilled than somebody, let's say on the level of a Shakur Stevenson, they might call that guy boring, or they might say he's a horrible fighter. You know what I'm saying? But Valdez said he believes that the fight versus Stevenson will be a technical fight. He didn't like disrespect his style and none. He said, me personally, I would prefer to brawl, but he also said that, hey, I can make it a technical fight too. And Valdez does have skill. You know, he got a solid coach. He got some talented fighters in his camp that he has access to spar with and train with and get tutelage from and different things like that. You know, so he definitely has a championship pedigree, and that's good. That stuff like that goes a long way. You know, and I like the fact that he's willing to take on that challenge. He's saying, okay, I think this fight is gonna be a technical fight. But look, I'm with that shit. And I think I can compete on that level. And I would love to see Valdez, you know, show me that he can stand in the middle of the ring and box with Shakur. You know, I think it's in his best interest to really work on the jab coming forward to the head and to the body and closing distance, breaking the pocket. I think that's going to be something that they should be working on heavily in their camp, because if you're not going to be able to break the pocket on Shakur and disrupt, you know, his level of comfort and distance control, you're not really going to have no success. You know what I'm saying? But I would love to see Valdez, you know, if he feels that confident in his abilities, in his skills, to sit there in the middle of the ring and just go tit for tat with Shakur and box him and see who got better time and who got better counter punching, who got faster hand speed, you know, who's more accurate, who has better punch placement. You dig what I'm saying? And when you do land, who has the most power, who can make the shots count the best. You dig what I'm saying? So if it seemed like Valdez is confident, you know, with however that fight may go. If it turns into a brawl, I'm with it. If it's a technical chess match, I'm with that too. I like that attitude. I like that attitude. Said Valdez taking Kerr deep in waters, taking Core in deep waters, but Shakur will win or get clipped. It's a 51-49 fight for me. Okay, I like that. I think on paper it's definitely a close fight. It's definitely it's a pick'em fight on paper. Now, some of us could just kind of go off what we've seen in history or just purely what we see on film and say, well, this dude, he gonna wash him or he gonna do this, he gonna do that. But on paper, it's definitely a pick'em fight. So I agree. And I don't think Valdez is somebody that anybody at 130 can look over. I think this is a guy that you got to take serious. Yeah, he been ducking. Yeah, he been running, but all that shit don't matter no more. The fight is signed and it's gonna happen. And you, when you get in the ring with this dude, you gotta take him serious and you gotta be on your shit. And I believe Shakur Stevenson definitely will, you know, be prepared and be on his shit. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that Shakur is capable of putting on, like one of the brothers just said. Shout out to the brother, Baby Juju in the building. What's good? You know, one-sided ass whooping coming. I definitely believe that Shakur Stevenson is capable of putting on a display of one-sided dominance in that fight. I definitely believe that, you know, but I would not be surprised if Oscar Valdez brought some things to the table that kind of ruffled Shakur Stevenson's feathers or put him in some difficult situations and made him, forced him to make adjustments, in which I think Shakur Stevenson is very comfortable in doing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the brother G in the building. What's good? Shout out to my brother Knockout Boxing 86 TV in the building. What's good? Say salute, bro. Jermell Charlo dropping the bag as we speak. Oh, hey, big facts. You know what I'm saying? I know, I know he in there dropping that bag, you know what I'm saying, so we can get bonded out. You feel me? And you know, hopefully they doing what they gotta do. You know, I think this was a good ploy, you know what I'm saying, a good like tactic to get Canelo, you know, kind of ruffle him up a little bit, kind of mix him up, misdirection. You know, let him think, let him think you ain't right mentally. Let him think you stressed out. You got some shit going on. Yeah, let's call Jermell Charlo right now. You know, let's make that deal right now. You know, he going through some shit. That's what I think it is. You know, that's what I think it is. I think this is a tactic. Shout out to my brother Rivera Frazier in the building, man. What's good? Appreciate you for pulling up. He said, Shakur about to beat. Oh, he said Shakur about to beat all the herbal tea out that boy. Valdez about to get Gotti. Man, you know what? I can definitely see a Mayweather Gotti-esque performance in this fight. I can see that. Now, let me say this. I do believe that Oscar Valdez is way more skilled than Arturo Gotti. Let me say that. You know, Arturo Gotti, even though I think Valdez is, you know, kind of tailor-made for Shakur, Gotti was like perfect. Gotti was like the perfect canvas for Floyd to paint the most beautiful masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? If there could have been any fighter you put in there for Floyd to just brutally beat down and just show every combination he ever learned, to show all type of punches and all the different weapons that he wanted to display, that was the perfect fight for Floyd Mayweather to be able to do that in. You know what I'm saying? With Valdez, I think Valdez is a more skilled fighter than Arturo Gotti, especially, and I think he's better now than what Arturo Gotti was at that time that he fought Floyd. That's just me. You know, Arturo Gotti he was like a brawler. He was like just a pure brawler. He was older. He had been in so many wars. He had been beat up multiple times. So I think Shakur is fighting a more dangerous fighter than Floyd was fighting at that time. So it would be, if he's able to put on that type of performance versus Valdez, I think that would be very impressive. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Ashley Corner. Yeah, Gotti's defense was trash. I mean, just go look at the Mickey Ward fights. Look at Gotti versus Ward. Look at those fights. It was just pure chaos. You know what I'm saying? They left all, I don't want to say they left all the skills at the door, because, even when you're in brawls and you're in highly competitive, ballroom brawl type of matchups, there's still a lot of skill involved. However, it's more like attrition and willingness to trade and letting your nuts hang and strength and, dog. It's more of that than it is skill. So Gotti definitely had a lot of that, but he wasn't the most skilled fighter. I think, in my opinion, Oscar Valdez is a more skilled fighter than Gotti ever was. I'm going to be real. Well, I mean, at least Gotti at that age. Gotti early on, he had some skills, but he was just like your average brawler. Slide and counter in the building. Salute to you. My boy was good. Said Oscar and Gotti the same fighter. Damn, you think so? I don't know. Y'all think Oscar and Gotti the same? I don't think so. Said Valdez hits harder and Shakur a better boxer overall. No ass whooping 7-5 or draw. Okay. Hey, shout out to my brother Naeem Ali in the building, man. Appreciate you for pulling up. What's good? Oh, salute to my brother Captain in the super chat. Coming through and showing love. I appreciate that, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for your support, man. Always coming through and showing love. But yeah, man, I am very excited for that fight. I'm very excited for that fight. Said, how do you feel about Bernie? Bernie the booger. Bro, y'all funny as hell, bro. Hey, y'all funny as hell, dog. How you feel about Bernie the booger saying that Crawford going to vacate the belt to become the mandatory for Jermell and Castano rematch? That's something. Let's talk about that. So look, number one, I don't agree that that's something that he should do. Me personally, because I, for one, wants to see Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, and I want to see that fight for Undisputed. So if Bernie really said that, bro, he gonna have to stop talking, man. You know, he gonna have to stop talking because I think he putting Terrence Crawford in positions that he shouldn't even have to be in. Come on now. That's a bad business move. I'm gonna tell you, it's a bad business move for a couple of reasons. Let me tell you. Number one, I want to see Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. And whether it's for all the titles or not, I want the fight. But me personally, I would love to see that fight for Undisputed. I would like to see Errol Spence beat Ugas, and then right after that, immediately fight Terrence Crawford for his title and become undisputed at welterweight. That's what I want to see. So would I like to see Terrence Crawford vacate his belt? Absolutely not. No. All right. So another thing, him going up to 154 to fight Jermell Charlo. I told y'all this, and I'll tell you again. I don't think Terrence Crawford can beat Jermell Charlo. I just don't. I don't think he can do it. He has the skill, but I just can't see him winning that fight. I think he would be taking on just too much. You dig what I'm saying? I think that's just too big. It's too much of a risk. Now, if something happens to where he just absolutely, the Spence and Crawford fight just can't happen for whatever reason, and that don't even make sense because Charlo is with PBC too. So if you can't make the Spence fight happen, how you gonna make the Charlo fight happen? Right? So I just can't see Terrence Crawford beating Jermell Charlo. I think he gets stopped. Salute to the brother Dalen Chapo in the building, man. Hey, my arch nemesis, Dalen Chapo. You know what I'm saying? What's good, man? Say you think Canelo ducked Big Charlo? I ain't gonna lie. It's hard to say he ducked or he is ducking. And again, the Bivol and Triple G contract, from what I understand, isn't solidified. And then also, I think he still has both opportunities on the table. So let's put that out there. However, if he did choose Bivol, it may come off as a duck, but I think that's a difficult fight as well. I don't think Canelo versus Bivol is an easy fight for Canelo whatsoever. You know, but I do think Jermell Charlo is the tougher match. I think Jermell Charlo brings more to the table than a Dimitri Bivol in more ways than one. You know, so that's the fight to make, in my opinion. That's the most competitive fight. That's the toughest fight to make, you know, and that's the biggest fight that he can make right now. You know, so I wouldn't necessarily call him a duck, but I'm just hoping that they get this shit right, man, and go ahead and make that fight happen. Said, shout out to the brother Leandro Guthrie Jr. in the building. What's good? Said the fight with Spence looks more and more like it's not gonna happen. I don't know about that, man. Like I said, and like the brother Earl Spence said, when I get this after I get this third belt, we'll see who holding up the fight. You know, so I really can't see. I don't see anything that's indicating why Spence versus Crawford won't happen. I really don't. And just being honest with you. You know, so no excuses. It's level boxing in the building. What's good? Hey, shout out to my brother, man. What's good? Appreciate you for pulling up. FG FQ400 in the building. What's good? Let me see. Said Crawford versus Charlo is a war. I don't know. I don't know, man. I gotta see Crawford at 154 first. I gotta see him at 154 first. And I just feel like, man, once Charlo lands something on him, bruh, it's gonna be bad for him. We got one. FQ400 said Charlo don't deserve Canelo fight. His resume trash. Come on, man. Who Bivol fought? Who Bivol fought that makes him deserve a Canelo fight? If you can't answer the question, if you can't answer that, we might have to get you up out of here. Hey, y'all watch FQ400 next reply. If his next reply ain't worthy, get him the fuck up out of here. Because that let me know you must be trolling. Salute to the brother Eric Davis in the building. What's good? HMC3 in the building. What's good, man? I appreciate y'all boys for pulling up, man. Boxing Genius in the building. What's good? Said Crawford will dog Spence and Dallas dirty in front of the whole city. Damn. Hey, it's possible. But let's see the fight. I want to see it. I would love to see it. Say he ain't fight. Oh, hold on. Hey, FQ 400. Answer my brother right up under you. Answer my brother Inevitable 8. He said, who did Yildirim fight? How did Yildirim get that fight with Canelo? Tell me who Yildirim fought. Tell me who Bivol fought. Tell me who the hell Caleb Plant fought. Who Caleb Plant fought? Tell me who Billy Joe Saunders fought. Tell me, hey, his next response better be about something. Salute to my brother Southpaw 773 TV in the building. Hey, man, y'all go subscribe to Southpaw 773 TV if you haven't already, man. Hey, that's one of my favorite boxing channels on YouTube, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro? Bro mixed the knowledge with the comedy over there. You feel me? He said he said Canelo is a disgrace to boxing. Hey, talk your shit, man. Hey, tell me, hey, bro, hey, you skating on thin ice, FQ 400. You skating on thin ice, brother. You ain't said nothing that's worthy yet. You Windy City Assassin in the building. What's good? Appreciate you for pulling up, my boy. What's happening? Yeah, Naam Ali. Yeah, Canelo requested Yildirim. Suleiman already came out and said that. He said Canelo requested Yildirim. The dude was his old sparring partner. The man literally had a live professional sanctioned sparring match. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Cry 7435 in the building. What's good? Man, I appreciate y'all for pulling up, man. What's happening? Marianne G in the building. What's good? Said, oh, yeah, he doesn't like what he says. Oh, they in here, ain't they? They in here, ain't they? Let's talk about it then. So you still ain't told me. You ain't told me who Yildirim fought. You ain't told me who Caleb Plant fought. You ain't told me who who the fuck did Callum Smith fight? Who did Callum Smith fight? You ain't tell me who the fuck who did Macaboo fight? If you telling me Jermell Charlo don't deserve to fight because his resume trash, Canelo last 5, 6, 7 opponents, who did they fight? He has no answers. He has no answers. Because he's a Canelo fanboy. You dig what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother J. Wash 4 in the building. What's good? What's good? You said Canelo fans are racist Mexicans who never threw a punch. Hey, real talk. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of them out there, man. Kui in the building. Salute to you, my queen. What's happening? Appreciate you for pulling up. What's good? Yeah, man. You know, so let's get to the topic of the show. You know, bro, y'all still letting let him live there, because I want you to answer the question. Hold on, FQ. Now, shooters, y'all got straps in here for a reason, but look, if y'all want to let him live, I want to hear what he gonna say. I'm gonna let y'all call it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna do nothing. I'm gonna let y'all call. I gave y'all the straps. I'm gonna let y'all call it. So let's get into the topic of the show. You dig what I'm saying? So look, Jermell Charlo, we have the Undisputed Rematch. Jermell Charlo versus Brian Castano is going down March 19th. And man, I've been going back and forth with a few different people in regard to Jermell Charlo's last performance. y'all seen after the first fight, I gave a lengthy, in-depth analysis on what I just my overall observation of the first fight, and then what I thought both guys did. I agreed with the draw. I thought the fight was so close that you really couldn't give it to either guy. There were moments for both guys in that first fight, and it was a very competitive fight. And again, I told people before that fight that Brian Castano was a very, very competitive fighter, very strong and skilled and sharp. And I knew that he was going to bring everything that Jermell Charlo could handle in the fight. And that's exactly what he did. Now, my thoughts on Jermell Charlo's original performance was that he did some things later on in the fight. You seen that he hurt Brian Castano in the second round, damn near knocked him out. And then later on in the fight, he hurt him, I think, in like the 9th round and the 10th. He hurt him a couple of times late in the fight as well. But he just seemed like he was very passive and very timid. And if you pay attention, and I know some of y'all watch the fight with the sound off, and that's cool too, just so you can kind of watch things objectively, but I like to get both views. I don't allow the commentary to sway me, but the reason that I watch the fight with the sound on is because I like to hear what the corners are saying, right? So I'm listening to Derrick James, and the funny thing about this, and this started in like round 4, because Derrick James, I believe they had a game plan going into the fight, and Coach James kind of let him feel Castano out early on, just to let him get a feel. Okay, see, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do. And then around round 4, he's realizing like, okay, bro, you not really doing the shit that we've been working on this whole time. Let me continue to harp on that. You heard Coach James say, look, use your jab, set up everything behind the jab, and throw it brain straight right behind that. Something that Jermell Charlo wasn't doing. And he wasn't doing it consistently. He was very sparingly throwing the jab. And what he was doing too much was waiting on Castano, allowing Castano to be first. And if you go back and watch the fight, you will see that Castano would kind of coast the first minute and a half of the round, and then towards the last minute and 30, he'll start like charging forward. He'll conserve his energy and then start charging forward and getting on the inside and causing a lot of ruckus, getting up underneath. But the whole time, Jermell Charlo could be racking up points using the jab, controlling the distance, something that he simply wasn't doing. And I found it odd that Jermell Charlo, like, literally was not listening to Derrick James. That was the biggest takeaway for me in that fight. Now, something that was interesting that I saw leading up to that fight was that Jermell Charlo did something a little different in camp. He went and got Juan Guzman. So while he was in Houston, he was working with Juan Guzman, and then he'll come out to Dallas. He'll come out here and work with Derrick James. And I thought that was kind of odd. Why fix something that ain't broke? You dig what I'm saying? And I don't know if he had, two motherfuckers in his head. I don't think Juan Guzman was in the corner, but he might have had, too much going on. And I thought that was a bad move. You know what I'm saying? So what I want to get from y'all, and hey, salute to everybody that's pulling up. If I missed anybody said I thought Charlo beat Castano 9-3. Man, you know what? People that had the score like that, I couldn't blame you, because I thought Charlo landed the better work. But me personally, I had it a draw just from the activity of Castano. I thought Jermell was too passive, and I thought he was efficient when he did throw punches and effective, but he just didn't throw enough punches to really dominate the fight and control it like I think he could have. And a lot of that would have started with using the jab. It seemed like he left his jab at the crib. He didn't use it in variations like he normally does. You seen him stop guys with the jab. You seen what he did to Jason Rosario. He'll take it to the head and to the body. And that's just something that I didn't see. I didn't see the variation of the jab. I didn't see the consistency of the jab. And that's something that I feel like he has to have in his repertoire. That's something that he has to have. You know what I'm saying? So, I just didn't understand why he wasn't listening to Coach James. So what I wanna hear from y'all, what version of Jermell Charlo do you think shows up in this fight versus Brian Castano? I've been watching the videos of him training. He's looking stronger than ever. The brother looked like he in tip-top shape, and that's always promising. That's always great to see. And shout out to the Queen Nick J. If I didn't shout you out, I seen you pull up, but I was talking and shit. I appreciate you for pulling up. What's good? You know what I'm saying? But I've been watching the videos. I seen that he posted on his Instagram. He said, look, it's the rematch this time. And you seen how Jermell Charlo performed in the rematch versus Tony Harrison. Even though he had to overcome some hurdles in that fight as well, he turned it on when he needed to turn it on. And that was a great performance in my opinion. That was a very good fight. That was a fight of the year candidate. Charlo versus Harrison too. A very entertaining fight. Very skillful fight. But what version of Jermell do you think shows up in this fight? Will we get that same Charlo, the energy? Will we get that same energy that we got in the Harrison 2 fight? You know what I'm saying? Will we get that killer instinct? He been talking on Instagram. He been saying he ain't been saying a whole lot of crazy shit, but when he do post, he'll say, look, it's undisputed. This time around, only the ones who risk it gonna win. You're not gonna win if you ain't gonna take no risk. That let me know he willing to put it all on the line. At least that's his mindset right now. And I like that. But what do y'all think? What male do y'all think is gonna show up? Said the same male we seen versus Harrison part 2 for sure. Okay. Said seem like mentally they're both distracted and Castano probably gets the win. Okay. Shout out to Deuce Trade 2-3 in the building. What's good? Damn. Nick J said he was listening to the wrong somebody. If she hushed, maybe he can get the job done. Oh, you must be talking about his lady. She do be over there. She be front row, screaming all type of shit, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he definitely gonna have to listen to Coach James, because I look at it like this. If you gonna go into a fight, number one, let's just put this out here. Number one, you have a world-class, world-renowned, not just trainer, not just coach, but a teacher of the sweet science. You have that man in your corner. You have a very valuable resource in your corner. If you just gonna show up to the fight and do your own thing, leave Coach James at the crib. Let him work with Frank Martin. Let him get some more time in with Earl Spence. You know what I'm saying? Let him spend, work with Morrell Jr. Let him work with guys. If that's what you're gonna do. If you ain't gonna listen to what Coach James telling you to do, get you somebody else. You dig what I'm saying? Ain't no way I'm finna go into a fight and do my own damn thing and it ain't working. I'm barely getting by. I know that I'm capable of dominating this dude. I know that I'm capable of controlling the fight and controlling the distance with my jab. I know that I have power in both hands. I know that I'm in shape and I can be as active as I need to be in this fight to get the victory. We seen that he was the bigger guy. We seen that he was the stronger guy. The shots that he landed had the bigger effect. He hurt Castano multiple times in that fight. There was just a lack of aggression and activity and consistency that you need to have when you fight on an undisputed level. Salute to my brother Big Tex 33 in the building. What's good? Appreciate you for pulling up. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain level of intensity and dedication that you gotta have when you fighting at that level, because keep in mind, even though Castano never really been there before, that's even more incentive for him to go crazy. It's like, bruh, I'm fighting for undisputed. I'm fighting for undisputed. Nick J, I agree. I think his conditioning was a little bit off. And we talked about that in the post-fight breakdown as well. I think he didn't necessarily trust his conditioning. Maybe that was what it was. But even then, You still got to listen to your coach. You know what I'm saying? Even at the very least, use that. Now, let's say this. If Jermell Charlo would have went out there and he used his jab consistently, he popping that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Even if he not throwing every jab with conviction, even if every jab isn't meant to be piercing and stiff, just, throwing little range finders, just throwing little shit just to get a reaction out of motherfucker. Even if you just doing that, let's say he was doing that the whole fight and he was getting countered over the jab every time. I didn't see him getting countered over the jab when he threw it like that. I didn't see that. So if that was happening, then I would have been like, okay, yeah, like, all right, I see why you abandoned the game plan. Now you went to something different. He never committed to the game plan. That's the problem that I have in that first fight. I never saw anything that Castano did to take away the jab because Jermell never actually committed to it. So even if his conditioning was off, which I think that it probably was, you know what I'm saying? Even if his conditioning was a little bit off, I still want to see you go out there and at least try to implement the game plan. And if it doesn't work, okay, cool. But you can't go out like that. You can't, especially not when it's for Undisputed. You can't go out like that. You can't go out like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't go out like that. When you have a resource like that, we know that you have all of the athletic ability. We know that you have the hand speed, the power. You got all the tools. Bro, all I need you to do is when you have an opportunity to put forth, a game plan that you got from a world-class trainer like Coach James, I just want to see you go out there and do that shit, especially when what you already doing ain't working. Said, please don't trust anything Canelo Camp said. I don't trust nothing they say. I'm going to be real. I don't trust nothing they say at all. Absolutely not. Ashley said, Mel didn't look comfortable in the fight. Is Castano had firing those punches. That's possible. That's possible. But I look at it like this. So which Jermell Charlo do y'all think is going to show up? Do you think after having the experience with going through a full 12 rounds with Castano, does that give him a sense of familiarity or comfortability that makes him feel like, okay, look, I've been in there with this guy. Now I can just go out there and let it all hang out and fight? Or do you think whatever Castano did to make Jermell Charlo so passive, will that same thing show up in this fight? And if so, why? Because to this day, I am extremely confused on why Charlo performed like that. Said Charlo was definitely weary of Castano's pop. His pop may be a little underrated. And I know Castano can punch. That's one of my favorite things about him. He got volume in his punches and he can pop. But that he's not the hardest puncher that I seen in there with Charlo. You know what I'm saying? I think Jason Rosario hits way harder than Brian Castano. Jason Rosario has bigger power than Castano. And I know styles make fights, but at the same time, I can't necessarily run with the idea that Castano hit so hard that Jermell Charlo didn't want to engage. I can't run with that idea. I can't run with that. Do y'all think that's what y'all think Castano just hit so hard that Jermell Charlo he didn't want no smoke? And if so, why take the rematch? I think Jermell Charlo knows that he could have did a lot better. You know what I'm saying? I think Jermell Charlo knows that he didn't perform at his very best. Said maybe he just wasn't recovered after being hurt. I never seen Jermell Charlo. I never seen Jermell Charlo like really hurt in that fight. I'm being honest with y'all. The punch that landed on the ropes, where he kind of popped down, you know what I'm saying? I thought that was a clean punch that kind of stung him a little bit, but I didn't see any like residual effects from that though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. This rematch is gonna be very, very interesting. Said Mel responds great in rematches. Shout out to the brother Smith and Smith Wesson 45. What's good? Said has Mel fought a pressure fighter like Castano before? Not really. Not like Castano. Castano is he's a very difficult guy to deal with. He's a very difficult guy to deal with. And if you don't have your punch output up, if you're not using your jab, man, he gonna make things difficult for you. Whether he knock you down, hurt you, or just win a decision based off of his activity, he's a tough guy to deal with, man. And I knew that going into that fight. I don't think Charlo has really been in there with anybody that had the pressure of a Brian Castano. But again, one of the things is that, you know, Castano really didn't really apply a whole lot of pressure until he had a game plan. And look, and that's another thing. That's one thing why that's why I felt like Castano had a lot of success in that fight, was because he stuck with his game plan. Even after he got hurt, remember, Jermell hurt him in the second round. Hurt him bad. Was that the first or the second? He hurt him bad. I think it was the second round. You know what I'm saying? But even after that, Castano stuck with the game plan. He came out in the first minute and 20, minute and 30, and he just kind of like postured. Just postured. He didn't really throw no punches. He wasn't really using a jab like that. He just postured. And then after that first minute and a half, that's when he applied the pressure. And the problem that I have with Jermell Charlo was that throughout that first minute and 30, you got to be popping that jab. You got to be giving angles. You know what I'm saying? You got to be scoring points. You have to. Because then once he start going off on the last half of the round, the judge is going to look at that and be like, oh, even if he not landing nothing significant, the judge is going to be like, oh, he doing work. You have to be first when a fighter allows you to be first, is what I'm saying. You have to. And that's what Derrick James was telling him. So even if Jermell Charlo tried to do that and it didn't work, I could live with that. But what I can't live with is you not actually even like trying to implement that. That's where I have a problem. And I think Mel thought it was gonna be over. Yeah, I did. I sensed that too, Nick J. When he hurt Castano, because I thought he was gonna stop him. In that second round, I thought it was over. I think he landed a left hook. Castano was coming forward, and Castano was doing good that round. You know what I'm saying? But Mel caught him while he was coming forward. I think he hit him with a left hook, like right on top of the head, and he hurt him real bad. I thought the shit was gonna be over. Maybe that was a mental thing with Jermell where he was like, damn, I hit this dude with a good shot like that, and he's still here. That's possible. You know, boxing is a very mental sport, man. You got to, this shit is psychological. Said I can't wait because Castano may make some changes too. Who makes the better adjustments? Who listen to their corner? That's the question. Hey, y'all read Nick J. Chat, man. That's the question right there. That's the question. Who gonna make the better adjustments? Who gonna listen to their corner? Whoever does that in the second fight is gonna win. You know what I'm saying? If both guys do that, I'm going with Jermell Charlo. If both guys do exactly what Nick J said, I'm going with Jermell Charlo. But if Castano do that and Jermell don't, Castano gonna win, and that just is what it is. Let me tell y'all this though. I feel like this though. I believe, and I don't know if y'all have this same sentiment, but I believe that when it comes to adjustments and abilities, I don't really know how much different Brian Castano is going to show up in this fight as opposed to the first fight. However, I can say that I've seen different versions of Jermell Charlo that gives me an idea of how far his abilities or adjustments, plan B, plan A, plan A, plan B, plan C, how far that can expand for him. Do you like what more can Brian Castano do in this fight that he didn't do in the first fight? We know what Jermell Charlo needed to do. We know what he didn't do in that first fight. I thought Brian Castano fought probably the best fight he could have fought. It just wasn't enough, in my opinion, to get the nod in a fight of that magnitude with so much on the line. I just didn't think he did enough, especially after being hurt multiple times. And a lot of that shit that he was throwing on the ropes when he got, and Mel got to stay off the fucking ropes. But a lot of that shit he was throwing on the ropes, it wasn't really landing like that. I mean, just being real, y'all go back and watch the fight. He was doing a lot of like shit, but it wasn't really like, he wasn't going crazy like it looked like he was. You feel me? But what more can Brian Castano do in a rematch that he didn't do in the first fight? Said, I hope Mel adjusts. I think he was just perplexed in that first fight by Castano's pressure. That could definitely be a case. Because, I mean, me personally, and that's one thing that I was worried about. I was genuinely worried about Castano's pressure going into that fight. Of course, me rooting for Jermell Charlo, looking at the fight objectively and like really breaking shit down on what could happen and how I think it's gonna play out. I ain't gonna lie to myself and I ain't gonna lie to y'all. But I was genuinely worried about his pressure going into that fight. And I definitely think that it did have some effect on Jermell Charlo. I think that's definitely something that caused troubles for him. But I think he's capable of dealing with that though. He's capable of dealing with that. And the fact that he's taking this rematch immediately, it lets me know that, like, bruh, I know I can beat this dude. And I know it's something that I didn't do in that first fight that I'm capable of doing. In my opinion, I think Brian Castano, he need to come out and do the same thing. Just be sharper. Come out and fight the exact same way with the same game plan. He just got to be sharper. I really don't know what more Brian Castano can do. He fought a great fight. It wasn't enough to get the nod, in my opinion, but he fought a very well put together fight. I can tell that he had a game plan. I can tell that he followed the game plan, because even early on in the fight when he got hurt, he didn't deviate from the game plan. And it looked like Charlo was a guy that was just in there freestyling. Honestly. It seemed like Charlo was just in there, just fighting off of whatever. You know what I mean? Just freestyling. Doing whatever he felt like, It didn't really seem like he had a lot of conviction. Said not his power, but his pressure. I totally agree. I don't think Castano got popped now. Don't get it fucked up. But I don't think he's like, I don't think he really just got like a whole lot of power like that. But pressure is dangerous. And, I always bring up Earl Spence when I talk about pressure. Also Canelo as well. You know what I'm saying? I gotta give motherfuckers credit for the things that they do well. Pressure, it puts not only physical pressure on you, but mental pressure as well. You know what I'm saying? When you constantly coming forward, you making a motherfucker think. They like, damn, I can never get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? I can't never get comfortable. I'm thinking like, fuck, what am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Oh, can I throw this punch or can I throw that punch? Pressure definitely, it's physical and mental. That's why it's dangerous. And what happens is you'll find guys, end up in vulnerable situations because they're being forced to either they're thinking that, man, I gotta throw even though I don't have to throw, or they thinking I can't throw when I should be throwing. It's a lot of mental pressure when you got guys that constantly come forward and they know how to do it. Not mindless pressure. You got to be able to add, you got to be able to apply intelligent and tactical pressure. That's what makes a great pressure fighter great. Somebody like Earl Spence, he don't just come forward mindlessly. His pressure is calculated and tactical. You know what I'm saying? As he's making you think. You're never comfortable in there with Earl Spence. You're constantly thinking like, okay, damn, if I do this, he gonna make me pay. If I do that, he gonna make me pay. Same thing with Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Canelo can go a minute, he can go 2 minutes in a round without throwing no punches, but he's applying pressure with head movement. And as soon as you make a mistake, boom, I'm hitting you with something. As soon as you make a mistake, because it's just forcing you to think and do shit that you're not even comfortable doing. So that's an adjustment that I think Jermell Charlo is definitely gonna have to make, just being able to deal with that pressure and using the jab and then also using that pivot game, man. Jermell Charlo got real good pivot game. He got to use that. He don't necessarily have to be, shout out to the brother R West in the building. He don't necessarily have to be like on some Floyd Mayweather shit, like moving all crazy, even though he does have the ability, he has the feet to do that. But I want to see the pivot game, man. Hit that pivot on that motherfucker. He start charging in like a bull like that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Andrea Sanchez in the building. What's good? Said, I respect Mel for taking this rematch. I think he adjusts very well and wins by UD. Gonna be a tough fight, but we'll see his growth from the first fight. Yeah, man. I think in this rematch, and I think rematches are good for particularly for that reason, because you are able to see check hooks. Yes, Windy City Assassin, check hooks. I want to see them check hooks. Move a motherfucker out the way and then step to the side. You know what I'm saying? I want to see that. And Charlo got a great left hook and a check hook. I want to see that. Like it's just so many things that I felt like he could have did that he didn't even try in the fight. And that's why that performance. Then y'all seen when I did my immediate post-fight reaction, y'all seen like my reaction. I was genuinely disappointed, not because I thought he lost anything. Just I'm like, bruh, come on, bruh. So you left a whole lot of meat on the bone. You know what I'm saying? But I like rematches for that reason. Like the brother Sanchez just brought up. You dig what I'm saying? You get to see a fighter's growth. You get to see how well they can adjust. All right, so this guy showed me all they cards. They showed me all they cards. I don't necessarily think Mel showed all his cards. Brian Castano, maybe he got some other shit up his sleeve too. But this guy showed me pretty much everything he got. This is undisputed, everything on the line. I know he was going to bring everything this time, but I definitely know he bringing it this time. How can I adjust? And I want to see the growth from that fight to now. And I'm glad that there haven't been any fight in between for either guy. It's like, all right, we jumping straight back in it. You know what I'm saying? You the last person I seen. You the last person I seen. You feel me? So it's like, some gonna have to give. I can see this fight going, a few different ways. I think this fight is up for grabs for either guy. I definitely think that Brian Castano has every chance in the world to win this fight. He's that good of a fighter, man. I remember people was sleeping on Brian Castano. Motherfuckers was telling me Patrick Teixeira was going to beat Brian Castano. I'm like, you out your damn mind. This dude can fight. This motherfucker a real dog. Castano is a real dog. I knew this shit wasn't going to be easy. But I do believe that Jermell Charlo is a better fighter. I think he's a better fighter. You know, so if we look at history, look at the Tony Harrison situation. Of course, Tony Harrison and Brian Castano, two totally different fighters, skill wise. Um, so it's different challenges that Jermell Charlo is gonna be facing here. Said I don't trust either Charlo or Psyche sometimes. Yeah, for real. Them dudes so up and down mentally, man. You know, you never know what's going on. But one thing I will say is that you gonna see some dog. You gonna see some dog. I think Charlo, you know, he waited too late in that fight to show that dog in the championship rounds. You know, he pulled it out a little bit. He did. If Jermell Charlo didn't turn it up in the 9th, 10th, and 11th, in the 10th, 11th, and the 12th, particularly from the 9th to the 12th, if he didn't turn it up like he did, Castano wins that fight. Castano wins that fight. The 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, the way he performed in those rounds, you could have had it 3-1 for Charlo, or you could have had it 4-0 for Charlo from the 9th to the 12th. Me personally, I can't remember what I scored it. I think I had it 3-1 or 4-0. I had it one of those. But those last 4 rounds was crucial. One of them was a swing round where it could have went either way. But if he didn't turn it up in them last 4 rounds, Castano wins that fight easily. If he would have just continued to be complacent and just coast the rest of the fight, performing how he was, being comfortable with just, you know, barely engaging throughout the rounds, if he would have done that, Castano wins that fight. But see, that's why they call it the championship rounds, because those rounds hold a lot of weight. You know, you go through 10 rounds, and then you got the 11th and the 12th, especially in a close fight, hotly contested, and it's undisputed on the line. Them last 2 rounds, man, they make a whole hell of a lot of difference. Said they talk too much for me. I like quiet killers like Earl Spence. Big facts. Big facts. That's why I don't even be tripping when, you know, these other fighters be coming out, you know, talking greasy and saying this and that. And then you got the fancy, you know, Earl Spence got motherfuckers like me. You know, I come on YouTube, I be the mouthpiece. You know what I'm saying? You know, Earl Spence got motherfuckers that, you know, that's gonna come out here and say certain shit. You feel me? But I don't expect Earl to be out here talking crazy, and I don't want to see that. I don't need none of that. You feel me? And the thing about it, the fact that, you know, he has such a big, solid, and supportive fan base, and he don't even really, like, he's not one of those guys that, you know, heavily promote himself like a Keith Thurman. He ain't one of these dudes that's always in the camera talking crazy and all that shit. Imagine if he was that, he'll even be a bigger star. But the fact that he's built, you know, a following for himself up until this point by just fighting, you know, by just working hard and fighting and winning, that tells you a lot. You know, so I want him to keep doing what he doing, man. Stay focused. Y'all seen the last post Earl Spence made, you know, where he you know, when he posted the poster, the marquee for the Ugas and Spence fight coming up, hashtag keep doubting me. I love that. Keep doubting me. I told y'all, bro, Earl be seeing what people be talking about. That's why I get on here and talk shit. You feel me? That's why I get on here and talk shit sometimes. You know, I post a video. I just get on here and talk shit. Because I know that he see all of the shit that's going on. You know what I'm saying? So I just get on here and talk my little shit. You know what I mean? Because I know what's coming. I know what's coming. You feel me? You know, all he need to do is just stay in the gym, keep working, man, and show up on fight night and go crazy. That's all I need him to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't need Earl Spence going to the beach talking about where the big fish at. You know what I'm saying? You know, flapping in the waters with his little floaties on and shit. I don't need Earl Spence to be doing that. You feel me? I don't need none of that. You know, just show up on fight night and go crazy. That's all I want. That's what got you here. You know, remember Earl said when he was first, it was the think about it, look at it like this. When they was talking about Earl had beat up Mayweather in sparring and shit, right? When they were saying Earl had got the best of Mayweather, you heard so many rumors. Oh, Earl black Mayweather eye. Oh, Earl dropped Mayweather. He did this, he did that. Did you ever hear Earl Spence talk about that? When they were saying AB dropped, when they were saying Earl Spence dropped AB or knocked him out on his feet and shit, did you ever hear Earl Spence come out and voluntarily talk about that? You never heard Earl Spence come out and say, yeah, I did this. Yeah, I did that. I know y'all heard that. I know. You never heard Earl talk about that. He just kept working. He let the rumors, he let everybody else talk about that shit. And that built like a mystique behind his name. You know, Floyd had to come out and say, yeah, you know, when I was getting ready for Robert Guerrero, you know, yeah, you know, this dude Spence, he gave me some work. That when I heard Floyd say that, because Floyd he don't come out. Floyd be doing sparring partners dirty. You know what I'm saying? Floyd be going out there fucking off on them sparring partners, bro. Like he be doing what he want to him. So when I heard Floyd come out and he be talking shit too. Like in the middle of the sparring, he be in there talking shit while he bloodying motherfuckers' nose up and shit, just talking shit. When I heard Floyd say that, I'm like, yeah, nah, that shit legit. That shit legit. You know what I'm saying? You know, the same thing with AB. He never talked about that situation. But, you know, AB had to address it at one time. You know what I'm saying? So I like that shit. You know, I like when a motherfucker like, you know, cool. It's cool to come out and promote yourself and, you know, talk at certain times for that, you know, at post-fight, post-fight interview, you want to call somebody out, cool. You get on the podium, you know what I'm saying? Talk your shit, go crazy. You know, Earl will let a motherfucker know what's up when it's time. But all that extra, like going crazy, just like unnecessary shit, nah, he working. He working. You know. I appreciate that shit. I appreciate that. He say, fuck talking, I'ma just show y'all how I get down when my next fight come up. You know, I respect that. Shout out to the brother Flawless Mentality and BE, hosted by Derek Mark in the building. What's good, my brother? Appreciate you for pulling up. What's happening? Nick J said, sparring etiquette, a lost art. That's facts. You know, a lot of these dudes, man, they like to get out here and get stripes out sparring, you know, but shit, what you gonna do under the lights, though? You know, now I'll say this. If it's somebody that's ducking you, if you sparred somebody in the past and they ducking you right now and they're publicly and blatantly ducking you and the fans want to fight, then I think you have grounds to bring up your sparring matches in the past. Let a motherfucker know, like, look, yeah, I know why you don't want to fight me because I whooped your ass in sparring. Yeah, what's up? Like, if you got to antagonize a motherfucker and make them, you know, to kind of provoke them to get in the ring with you for real, then okay, I respect it. You know, but other than that, nah, I don't really respect a motherfucker just coming out saying, yeah, I whooped on old boy in sparring just cuz. You know what I'm saying? But like Devin Haney, you know, these motherfuckers out here ducking and shit. Yeah, if they don't want to get in the ring, I'm going to let the people know what happened. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm going to let them know what happened. Yeah, you know what happened in sparring. Yeah, you know I whooped your ass in sparring. That's why you don't want to fight me under the lights. You know, and if you're going to talk about what you did in sparring, you got to be willing to fight under the lights. You can't just bring up no shit that happened in sparring. You done whoop somebody ass in sparring, but you're not willing to fight them under the lights. Nah, you can't do that. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. If you're not willing to fight under the lights for the paycheck, for the glitz and the glamour, for all the marbles, if you ain't willing to do that, you can't talk about what you did in sparring. You can't talk about that. That should be a rule. I don't want to hear shit you did in sparring if you're not willing to fight me when it count. And that's why I respect Devin Haney, because shit, he want to fight the best. You know, he want to fight all these dudes. I'm pretty sure if Teofimo Lopez would, at the time when he was a champion or whatever, when Devin Haney was pursuing him heavily, he would have got out there. He wouldn't have never brought up no sparring, none of that. He would have said, okay, bet. Let's fight. We gonna do it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Respect. But I think Devin Haney lost respect for a lot of these guys because they claim that they one thing, but then when it come down to it, they say everything but let's fight. Remember, he tweeted that he said these dudes say everything except let's fight. You know what I mean? They say, oh, he don't got no power, but they don't say let's fight though. They say, oh, he can't sell, but they never say let's fight. They say, oh, he too young, he ain't fought nobody, but they never say let's fight. They say everything except, all right, let's make the fight happen. They say everything but that. So I think guys like Devin Haney, they don't have no choice but to talk. Because if Devin Haney just sit back and just let motherfuckers have control of his career, let the fans and these, quote unquote media outlets run with any narrative they want to run with, that's not good, In that case, you have to take control. You have to grab this shit by the horns and run with your own narrative. You got to let your voice be heard, because if you don't, motherfuckers going to continue to write all these different articles. The fans going to keep coming up with their own, conclusions on what happened. You know what I'm saying? No. If you Devin Haney, fighters like that, and I'm going to tell you, Demetrius Andrade is another guy who should take a page out of Devin Haney's book. He gonna have to get out here and talk more. You see how Demetrius Andrade, you will see sometimes like he chasing Canelo and shit. He popped up at the press conference. That's cool. But for the most part, like, Andrade be nowhere to be found. You don't be hearing shit about him. You don't be seeing him nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So this narrative that Canelo created, that he's a horrible fighter and he don't deserve a shot to fight anybody, it's like, there's really like fans that's running with that shit. It's really fans that believe that Demetrius Andrade is so terrible of a fighter that he doesn't deserve an opportunity. This guy's a two-time, two-division champion, a highly touted, highly decorated amateur, and an extremely skilled fighter. But it's a lot of fans that's running with the idea that he's a horrible fighter and he doesn't deserve an opportunity. Why? Because he stays quiet and he allows the narrative to just run rampant. Now, in this day and age, with having social media at your grasp, having different outlets that you can use, you gotta take this shit into your own hands. You gotta talk. Andre gonna have to talk about some sparring that went on. He gonna have to pull up some old tapes. Yeah, this went out. Y'all seen what Erickson Lubin did? He pulled out them Eric Berlanga tapes. He gonna have to, and I done seen many of tapes with Erickson Lubin whooping on your favorite fighter. Yeah, people talking down on Erickson Lubin because he got knocked out by Jermell Charlo. I done seen a many of tapes that Erickson Lubin whooping on your favorite fighter. A lot of y'all favorite fighter got their ass whooped by Erickson Lubin in sparring. Yes, it's on tape. Look it up. So a guy like Andre, he gonna have to release some sparring footage. He gonna have to come out and talk about what he did. He gonna have to ruffle some feathers so these folks can understand what they dealing with. Because obviously going out there and whooping on these Liams and Callums and whoever they put in front of him ain't enough. He tried to fight Billy Joe Saunders. He popped dirty for PEDs. He been chasing Canelo. He had the last title at 160. All Canelo had to do was fight Andre. He could have been undisputed at 160. He didn't want no smoke. Triple G want no smoke with Demetrius Andrade. And I hate to say it, Jermell Charlo want no smoke with Demetrius Andrade. Just being 100. And y'all know I fuck with Jermell Charlo. He don't want nothing to do with Demetrius Andrade. I don't think he's scared. I think it's more of a personal situation, but the fact remains he ain't trying to fight the dude. That's facts. He said he don't want to fight him. So you're going to have to take some extra measures to get these fights. That's just how I feel about the shit. You know what I'm saying? Said personal makes the fights better. I agree. Y'all got history. Y'all got like real beef. That shit gonna make the fight better, in my opinion. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. You know what I'm saying? But look, man, I'm finna go on and get up out of here, man. Hey, look, I appreciate everybody for pulling up. You know what I'm saying? You know, great episode of Merlot Friday. We chopped it up. You did what I'm saying. Y'all gave some great feedback, man. Great insight. I always appreciate that. Shout out to everybody in the super chat, everybody in the regular chat interacting, chopping it up, talking this boxing. I really appreciate y'all, man. Like the video if you haven't already liked the video. You know what I mean? And I want y'all to enjoy y'all weekend. You dig what I'm saying? I think they got Danny Jacobs fighting fucking John Ryder. You know, I don't know who's going to watch that shit, but if y'all are, hey, that's cool. Hey, and look, Nick J and Boxiana, they got their show coming up tonight, Queens of the Ring. You dig what I'm saying? On Nick J channel, I think that y'all go on like at 9, right, Nick J? Ain't it right? Y'all going on 9. Y'all going around 9. So look, pull up. Hey, shout out to my brother E. Frazier in the building. What's good? Said what Chris Colbert gonna do. Hey, I like Chris Colbert. I think he got a lot. He got a lot of skill, man. A lot of athleticism. When does he fight? I know he got a fight coming up. It's supposed to be for like a vacant title too, so I'm definitely gonna check that out. You know what I'm saying? But hey, y'all pull up to Nick J and Boxiana on Nick J's channel, 9:30. She just posted the link, so y'all pull up to her shit. You feel me? It's going down, man. Hey, Contender Regime, Box